Welcome to Win the Day from Back to the Bible. I'm your coach, Pastor Nat, and today we will talk about taking the next step of faith. In a recent meeting, a friend said, "Easy is boring. Why would you want the easy route, especially when the right way involves a challenge?" Now, our conversation was in the context of leading a church. Now, I'm all for a bit of rest or, as he put it, ease. But I think he was right. Easy can be boring. And often, the right way will not be the easy path. Ruth and her mother-in-law, Naomi, have had a very challenging road. Along their journey, they've had choices to make. And so far, they've been wise in their decision-making. But will Ruth take the easy path or the right path? Let's find out in Ruth chapter 3, beginning in verse 6. So she went down to the threshing floor and did just as her mother-in-law had commanded her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain. Then she came softly and uncovered his feet and lay down. At midnight, the man was startled and turned over. And behold, a woman lay at his feet. He said, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth, your servant. Spread your wings over your servant, for you are a redeemer." And he said, "May you be blessed by the Lord, my daughter. You have made this last kindness greater than the first, in that you have not gone after young men, whether poor or rich." In verses 1 through 5, Naomi tells Ruth to go to Boaz at night, to wait till he has eaten, drank, and gone to sleep. Then she is to lay by his exposed feet. Now, this wasn't a call for sex, but to declare Ruth's willingness to marry her kinsman redeemer. And as we can see from verses 6 through 10, she follows Naomi's advice. She goes to the threshing floor and lies at his feet. She did this secretly to not cause shame or gossip as to their relationship. She snuck in during the middle of the night. Now, Boaz must have been a light sleeper because she wakes him up. It's dark. So Boaz asks, "Hey, who is there?" And Ruth says, "It's me. It's Ruth." And then she says, "Spread your garment over your slave, for you are a redeemer." Now, do you remember what Boaz prayed over Ruth in chapter 2? There in verse 12, Boaz says, "The Lord repay you for what you have done, and a full reward be given you by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." She uses the same word here to say, Boaz, you are the extension or the manifestation of the Lord's wing. You are the answer to the prayer. Rather than going out and finding a younger man and having a life that she might prefer, she takes a step of faith. And what's Boaz's response? He realizes that she is doing this on behalf of her family line, on behalf of Naomi. And he affirms her for being a woman of integrity and a woman of character. Awesome. Again, we see how God is working this situation out for good. A true picture of God's loving kindness to others. But is that the end of the story? Hardly. So what happens next? You know, I'd love to tell you, but we just don't have the time. So today, look at the character of Ruth. She didn't compromise her character, but she did step out in faith. She did the next thing. What's your next thing in your step of faith? What is God asking you to do? I'm not asking you where He's calling. What is He asking you to do next? Oftentimes, that's all we can see and know. So take the next step of faith like Ruth. Do it, and when you do, you will win the day.